What makes Tynwald School cool?
The wide span of area that we've got to play in.
That it's unique because no other school has the same students.
That everyone's nice and caring and we get to do fun stuff and we have leadership positions.
What sort of leadership positions do you have?
Like house leaders, school leaders, jobs like sports monitor, peer mediator and PALS.
Oh, that's a big list. What ICT tools do you like to use at Tynwald, and can you give me an example of something that you have done?
The computers, because we get to do fun stuff on them, because when I was little I did kid pits and I did lots of funny drawings and all that.
Well, I like to use the Wiimote because you can use it and you can do maths and reading and stuff while it's fun.
I like using the data projector because it can show stuff on the computer easier than having everyone crowd around the computer.
So it's two examples here. You've talked about the Wiimote and you've talked about the data projector. Both are obviously using the data projector. What's so special about having a data projector in your room?
So it can show out things on the computer.
And does it mean that everybody can see it?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Are there times when you would like to use an ICT tool but you don't get the chance to?
When we're drawing pictures, sometimes we could find pictures on the internet with the computers.
When we're doing title pages and I can't think of anything to draw, it would be easier if we could go onto the internet and search images.
When we're doing like art, maybe we could add in some like real life pictures sometimes and some drawn pictures.
What are WALTs, and can you give me an example of how they are used in your classroom?
WALT means we are learning to, and in our classroom we do handwriting and like sometimes the WALTs are to use slope and linking.
WALT means we are learning to, and sometimes we are learning to listen to each other's ideas and put them forward.
What means we are learning to, and in maths we have different topics to do and we have to think of what we're learning to do and learn to do it.
Mm-hmm. So how do you know that you've done that? If you're learning to do something, do you know if you've sort of got there or?
Because if you do it again, it'll be easier than the first time because you'll know that you've done it before and you've achieved it.
And you'll get a better result out of it.
How do you know that you've been successful in a learning task?
Well, if you have to answer questions, you would have got most of them right, and if somebody else got them right, you would have known because you would have got the same questions right as them.
But how would you have known you've actually got them right?
Because if you hand it in, the teacher will mark it, and if you don't get them right, you know you haven't achieved, but if you've got them right, you've achieved.
I agree with Marika. Most of everything that she said.
Yep.
Well, I think that you would be improving each time that you do it.
How would you know that you've improved each time?
Because Miss Sullivan would mark it, like Marika said.
So is by Miss Sullivan marking your book, is that the only way you'll know you've done something right? Can anyone think of any other ways they might know if they've done something right?
Not really.
Okay. How do you know what you need to do next time to improve?
Because
That's right. How do you know what you need to do next time to improve?
For a start, you need to know what thing you got wrong, and then you have to keep practicing until you get it right.
Yeah, I agree with Alex.
I agree with Alex as well.
Good. I'm glad you all agree, because I'm going to ask, how do you know if you've got something wrong?
Because if the teacher marks it, she'll mark it wrong if we got it wrong.
And so how do you know how to make that better?
By learning about it more.
You can make a goal and say like, by next term I'll get this right and keep practicing it.
So do you make goals for some things, do you?
Yeah, like cross country running.
And basic facts
Okay. Where do you put those goals?
in our portfolio.
Or in our books.
And do you make those goals up?
Yeah.
Yeah, most of them.
Okay.
Sullivan does centered starters though.
Yeah. And how do you choose those goals? Like for an example, if you chose one for say cross country, how would you choose that?
By like seeing what feeling we think that we're gonna do and see how good we're gonna do it.
So is your goal different to most other people's in the class?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how do you know when you've achieved that goal? Do you mark it yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you've passed like the cone, because there's cone with numbers around outside of the track, the cross country.
So you set goals that you can easily mark yourself, so you know when you've achieved them.
Yeah.
What is a thinking tool? And can you give me some examples of thinking tools that you have used?
We use the thinking hats and we use the judgment hat and the creative hat for reflection time.
I agree with Anna.
We use the thinking hats for the black hat and the white hat, which is positive and negative thinking about reflections, about different things.
So what's reflection? Can you inform me about that?
Like we're reflecting on what we've done, like we're seeing what we've done and what we could have done better, or what we've done good.
And when do you do that?
Usually after we've done something.
Or in the morning.
And what do you do with that reflection? So if you say, okay, I did this well and I didn't do this well, what do you do about that?
We could practice the things that we didn't do very good and keep working on the things that we did do good.
And then we'd set a goal about it.
And maybe like write down what you're doing and stick it on the wall so you remember to carry on trying to achieve it.
How do the 6 thinking hats help you to learn?
Because they're hats, they're not just words that you have to read, and that they're like colourful hats, so they encourage you to learn what's written on them.
Yeah, mine's sort of the same as Marie.
They're fun and easy to learn with and give you ideas.
How do they give you ideas?
Because positive, minus and interesting. And
So you're saying the PMI
yeah.
is kind of linked to the hats
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Can you think of an example when you might have used that?
For our SRA reading, when we,
So just explain. So for the SRA reading, how did you use the PMI or the 6 hats?
to write down what was good and what was bad and what was interesting.
And did you do that for yourself or for somebody else?
For ourselves.
Yeah.
I don't think with piece of paper